Hi, everyone. Welcome to this new version of the Analyze Your Trade series. This is a full live charting 6-hour event that we're doing, and this is the second time in this new format on TimingResearch.com. So we had a great time last time, and I think we'll have another great event for this one. And of course, all of these presentations are for educational purposes only. Trading is not suitable for all people. Please be sure to consult your financial advisor before you take any trades. And now I just want to welcome Alaina Nicole to be our first presenter today, and turn it over to her.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Alaina, like you said, and my trading style is I'm predominantly a scalper. There are some times, and if anyone's not familiar, scalping is just like we're jumping in and out of things really quickly. But there are times that I'll swing trade. It's just very rare, especially in this market. There's a lot of like catalysts and things, and I just like to be able to sleep at night. So I really like to scalp and just take my money off the table. But yeah, I would love to show you guys some setups. I'm just watching right now the SPY. I trade predominantly the S&P, so I like to trade SPY and SPX as well. SPX is a different kind of monster, so I didn't want to use that for today just because I don't know everyone's skill level. But if you're into trading the S&P, shout out to you. So yeah, I'm just watching this price action right now, and this is a little nuts. So we're gonna see what it's trying to do. I just had a crazy volume spike that got slapped back down, and now I'm just trying to see what this is gonna do. This is crazy. Definitely would like to see a direction before I jump into anything here. And we are a little oversold, so I like to wait and see, are we going to bounce? Are we really going to bounce? Or are we going to reject and come back down? I guess I can talk about my chart too, just while we're here. I have a couple different indicators on here. I do like EMAs just because they update a little quicker. I also use the Fibonacci retracement, so you'll see those lines here. I use price levels like support and resistance. We have a pretty cool way that we map those out. Like we'll start on a really high time frame and make the lines a little thicker. And then like I get down to the lower time frames and kind of thin them out. So like the really, really thick ones are like weekly levels. I've got monthly, weekly, I think daily, and then like 15-minute levels. So I can kind of see their importance or the significance just based on the thickness of the price level line. Then when I go in, I use those as my take profit levels. So it's pretty cool. And you can see we actually just popped off of one of these levels down here. So I'm going to adjust my fib to this new low and see if we can, or see what this actually wants to do. And then we do, for the gap traders in here, we do have a little bit of a gap this morning on SPY that hasn't been filled just yet. Just a tiny gap. So we'll see if we can get that faded this morning too, or today maybe, I don't know. But does anyone have questions? I'm really just like, when I trade, my students tell me I'm like, I don't know, like a hippie. I just kind of sit in silence and watch the screen. So I am excited about the live analysis, but I'm curious as to like what you guys want to know. So what I'm looking for, I guess I'll just talk through this setup here. What I'm looking for in order for me to jump into something, I would like this to like clear the EMA 50. So if we can't do that, then I really, it's not good for me. I just need it to clear that. Also, I would need to see some more volume, which we got some volume coming in, but I'm just not confident. There's a lot of sellers in here today, so I would need to see a ton of buyers come in to be excited about an upside play today. Let's see. And then I also use MACD and RSI. Those two are like, I don't know, they're just kind of, they're there, but I really am more of a price action trader. I like to use like volume, candlesticks. I love candlestick patterns. For scalping, especially on the SPY, time frame wise, like I like the lower time frames. I know there's people that kind of scalp on like all different time frames, but I really feel like the S&P is so volatile that it works for me to be down lower. And I've tried the 30-second, and that's just like a lot, but it's too fast. So you guys see how this is struggling right here? This is how I avoid getting into something that's not ready to reverse or getting in too early. It looks like it's trying, but it's like struggling. I don't like that. And I do like the Hikinashi candles to trade on just because they clean up my patterns. And I do use the regular candles too, just to mark up my gaps. I think I showed you guys this earlier, but you can kind of see, I see my gap there. So like if we get in there, then I would take a trade just because it's more high probability, but like everything else has to still look good. And I'm curious to see if this is going to reject. And of course, if it did reject and the sellers came back, I would just work my way down. Let's look at CNC. Let's see. This guy's low volume. I'm going to open this up just to here. And I'm actually going to throw up another indicator on here. Average true range, if anyone's not familiar, you can kind of see on average how many points your stock moves a day. So this one does look like it moves a hair. But let's go down. I want to fib this out, but I don't want to use a too wide of a frame. What was the high yesterday? Okay, we can fib from here. This thing doesn't have any volume. So you do have a bit of a trend line here too that it's kind of respecting. So yeah, if you can get some volume in here, it's kind of struggling here. But if you can get some volume in here and hop the 50 there, I would look for this. Well, if we can hit this first and then your 85.31. But you do have like your golden ratio. So stocks tend to like to travel back to that too. It just needs some volume. As long as you don't crack this trend line and the buyers hold this up, you should see a nice move. But I don't know. I don't know anything about this or the catalyst just from a technical standpoint. And I'm actually not crazy about this candle either. You see how the MACD is getting weaker a little bit? But yeah, I think I'm so used to trading the SPY that like anything that doesn't move really fast, it's like I kind of don't have the patience for. But yeah, I would just keep your eye on this and see. Definitely use a stop loss. Like I trade with stop losses, so I don't know if the time decay on this is crazy, but if it doesn't move super fast, you definitely want to have a stop. Does anyone else have a ticker they want to look at? Let's look at this daily on CNC. Amazon. Okay. Yeah, this looks like it's trying to break lower on this daily too. Let's look at Amazon. Amazon looks horrible on the daily, but let's go down. All right, I'm going to start on a 15, and that's just like the top-down analysis, just starting from the bigger time frame and working your way down and just seeing what's going on. And honestly, for scalpers, literally like what I kind of just did, but you can start on the big time frame and then just to see, but then I like start on the 15 really, like just work my way down from there. On this fib, I'm gonna flip it because we're near the lows and we'll see if we can go lower. On Amazon, so you see this low here, it's like what, 90.18, 90.19, 90.17. Looks like it's hitting some support, maybe. If you do go lower here, you got a price level on your extension at 89.48, but I feel like they're trying to push it back. We'll see. Well, yeah, there they go. They're fighting back. This level on my fib is hidden. I believe it's 90.57. 90.57. And so one of the things too is like I don't trade Amazon a lot, so I don't even have price levels in this range. But if you're someone who's like looking to trade something just for the day that you don't trade all the time, I will just start on like a 15 and run down price levels. And then like if you get weird price action and we're moving sideways, then I'll kind of go up and add the bigger ones. But the 15 gives you, that is weird. Hang on one second. But yeah, but the 15 gives you enough range to be able to go in and scalp something and have good levels. But yeah, that just keeps me, I'm very organized. I'm super organized. So I just like to keep it as possible, as neat as possible. But for Amazon, same deal over here though. If you like, I would like to see this bounce, but there's no buying volume really today. So it's almost like I'm just letting the RSI come up so I can take the elevator back down. But if we hop that 50, that's a different story. What's next? PDD. Oh, this is an interesting chart today. I feel like this gave the long-term holders of this anxiety today. Let's look up. I want to see what this is doing. We got a trend line along this upper edge here. But here we're rejecting that 20, 21, sorry. 4 hour, let's look at the 15. We did get a lower high, but we're pushing up too. I'm gonna fib this from yesterday's high, just because we're like ranging really hard here. And also on this one, because I'm not gonna lie, I've never traded this before, but I want to see if there's any gaps that we're near. Okay. There's gaps all over the place. So this one looks like it's filled. This is filled, this is filled. This one's filled, they've all filled. Well, this looks like this morning's gap was filled. Okay. It's looking a little better. You got a little bit, it's a little messy, but you do have a little bit of a pennant here. Just for my pattern people, you see how you like tweezered up here, but you have like, let me take this magnet off. I don't like to force patterns, but I see it now that I jumped up on the time frame. So, okay, do you see this bullish pennant? That's a continuation. So it just popped out of there. And then you see the MACD and RSI just popped up too. So, and there's probably some volume coming in. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm not mad at this. So whoever asked about this, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. I think it's Trader DX. Looking for this next level up is this, what is it? 59, or sorry, 55.40. And you got 55.83 and then 56.64. I do think there's, oh yeah, that's the extension, 56.64. Let's see, QCOM, the semis. 20 days you set for ATR to use the program default. Yeah, this one was on, it's just on the default. I didn't make any changes to this ATR. It's on a 14, it looks like, but I just jumped up to the daily to see. And this is on QCOM, but it's showing me 611 on QCOM's daily. Oh, QCOM just had earnings. So that means we get a gap. I always tell my students, like, it's like a lot of people get excited to like play earnings, but I get excited about the gaps. So like what I'll do is just go in, mark up the gap from the low to the high, and we don't have any partial fills just yet. So what I like to do is set an alert. And this just gets the gap on my radar. What did I say this high was? 105.20. So it's like, okay, just let us know when we hit 105.20, and that's like a layup of a scalp or a swing, depending on when we get in there. But I love earnings for that, for the gaps, if nothing else. But let's go down and analyze QCOM. And I actually didn't see their earnings either, but I know the semis, see, they actually beat, it looks like. Okay, so that's not bad. Semis have just been getting battered. I just made a new low. Okay, so since this dropped, I'm actually just going to fib from the top of this, from yesterday's high, which honestly is probably still going to be a lot for QCOM, but we'll work with it. And then let's jump down to the 1 minute. And so now, honestly, this is back in some like accumulation, like it looks like it just got dumped. So it may move sideways for a few days. But that being said, we got an alert here. If you go lower, let me flip my fib. I need to see if our extension for the low. Okay, there we go. So if we do break lower, look for this 98.35, but it looks like it's respecting, for now at least, at 101.95. There's a bit of a double bottom in there, but it just rejected the 50. So we know what that means now. Let's see. This just needs some buyers to step in and save it. It just got beaten down. Google. Okay, let's do Google. I got that on here. I'm going to use yesterday's high as well for Google, but we can jump up and look. Very bearish. Very bearish. They are getting oversold though. That's a good sign. But we know RSI can go way lower. So unfortunately. Yeah. All these rejections off this 50 are just gnarly. All right, let's fib out Google. And anyone who uses TradingView, if you're not familiar with the magnet tool, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. It literally like snaps everything you're drawing to the wick of your candle so you can be super accurate on your charting, because that's important. That's super important to be on point with that. Let's see, Google, are you going to bounce? We just rejected, but looks like some buyers are trying to push back on this. So the first target on this will be like this 85. It's hidden now. What is the 85.79? But maybe we can get some buyers. I don't know. The market looks atrocious. Atrocious. It's looking actually a little better than it did earlier, but let's see if we can get a bounce in here. Just like the bears are taking the wheel today. Let's see what this wants to do. I think my favorite part about scalping is just how zen it is. Like you're really just sitting and watching, and there's like, you kind of just strike whenever the conditions are there. But if they're not there, then it's just a lot of like, it's almost like meditating. I don't know. It's just, I really enjoy watching the charts. I really, really do. Let's see if we get a rejection. Well, we are getting a rejection here. See if we break this low. So yeah, on the rejections, like as far as what you look for or what I like to look for is just if we break the low. So I don't really get excited about playing the downside again until we break that low. And then if you do go in, like in a situation like this, I would need to see like tons of selling volume, like maybe a volume spike or like a big candle that's like, you know, shooting down. But this one, it looks like the bulls are putting up a fight still. It's not like just moving down really smooth, you know? So I don't like to jump into anything like that. But if you were to see like a volume spike or a nice candle moving towards the downside, like this would be the first target. And like a lot of times scalps can be really quick, like really quick. My quickest trade ever was like 4 candles, but I know my mentor, he scalped like 1 candle before. So that's like, I'm not there yet. I haven't scalped just 1 candle, but it's just, I guess, a preference. And again, we're just being nimble and we're just reacting to whatever the market gives us. So if you get one of those Fed candles, then that's even better. Like yesterday was crazy. Yeah. There's another tweezer, I believe. 80, see the lows? Anyone that's not familiar with the candles, you got like 85.45 and then 85.46. So that's a reversal pattern. It's a bullish reversal pattern. Tweezer bottom. And Google looks like it's fighting back. So for here, I still want to clear that 50, but if we can do that, then we have action. I'm gonna throw up some price levels here. I'm gonna hit this one. This is like the tallest wick in this little group. And just because like, I guess because I teach a lot, so I'm used to doing this for people, but I'm just gonna throw up the candlestick patterns as I see them. Here's a descending triangle. So that's a continuation pattern. You see how your support was the same and then your resistance kept getting smacked down by the bears. So we consolidated and then we broke lower. So this would have been a nice scalp setup too after we broke out of this triangle. And this is horrible. We can't clear the 50. But yeah, if you take nothing else away from me today, just know the 50 is your best friend. It'll protect you from a lot of unnecessary entries. Any other tickers you guys want to look at or any questions just in general? I know scalping is like, it is for the patient. It's definitely for the patient. This is a lot of what I do all day is just to watch and send memes to my community. Another thing I like to do, I guess just like a trading view hack, is I'll go in and I'll just set an alert for the 50, like the crossing of the 50. Because then like, you know, I might go in the morning and, you know, run my fib, and for scalping, I like to run my fib on the prior day because like we don't really have a lot of range for today, you know? So if we do though, like if we have a big move during intraday, then I'll just fib from over here. So yeah, in the morning, I'll run my fib, I'll mark up any gaps on the chart, make sure my price levels are there. And then you can really just set your alert for that 50 and then just go on about your day. So then when you get alerted, then you know, like, okay, like all my stuff is in place to go. It's not like a huge thing. But that's just for anyone on the go. Like I personally will sit here all day and watch this sometimes, but it's not necessary. Now it's telling us it's trying to cross. There's our alert. It works. but it still hasn't crossed. It's still trying to. Let's see. Keys. Google is breaking my heart right now. Let's jump up to this daily first and see what we're dealing with. Okay, it looks like we got a little distribution up here. Let's jump down. That MACD hasn't crossed yet, but it's given bearish right now. Let's see. 15. There's a death cross on our 15 here. 15 is a little oversold though. I'm thinking this is probably going to try to bounce before it heads lower just because of the way it's oversold, but I could be wrong. Let's go down. Yeah. Throw this up just for giggles. So anytime you have like a trend, you can just kind of pop this on here, the trend line, and that'll help you too, as far as like keeping you from jumping in too soon. You see how we had a gap this morning that it just filled like this. I'll mark it, but I'll take it off because we actually just filled it. And then it looks like we have an intraday gap too now to the downside. Okay. So that being said, this is super choppy. You have this 167.85 to the upside, but it's almost overbought. I feel like for me, for options, I would need more volume than this. Like I'm not crazy about this volume at all. I know today it's pretty early in the day still, but this volume is like horrifying. Is this something you trade options on, or is it something like a long-term hold? I'm just curious. It just looks like it doesn't move super quick. And like with options, you really want momentum because this is going to eat you up on time decay. Okay, cool. Okay, I was like, please don't do, that's not advice. That's just like, you don't want to get burned up on time decay on this thing because it's not moving. You see the price, it's just kind of hanging out. But yeah, if it's just a long-term hold, that's a whole different ball game. I remember back when we were looking at, oh, this is a pretty move on SPY, and it looks like it's going for that gap. See how we kind of struggled here, and then once we hopped it, it was a wrap. And it doesn't always happen like this, but this is a really pretty setup. But yeah, I learned my lesson on time decay with Pfizer. I was holding Pfizer contracts, chasing like vaccine news, and like it ate me alive on time decay. This is a really pretty move on SPY. The bear or the bulls finally got here. Let's open up because I want to look at Google too. Okay, I hope the purple doesn't throw anyone off. I know my chart is a little eccentric, but I just want to see what Google's doing. If it got over the 50, not yet. Not yet. Nice. Tesla. This is really pretty. Let's look up real quick. I have several fibs on Tesla. Let's see. I'm going to take this one off. This is an older fib, I believe. All right, Tesla looks like it just ejected. The 21 up here on the 15, it actually looks really good on the 15. I'm not mad at this at all. But I don't enter my trades on the 15. That's the problem. I gotta look down for confirmations. Just for my style. Other things let you can definitely get away with that. But over here, I'm not crazy about that last candle. Let's see. I actually need to flip this. We're working our way up. Okay, here we go. So now we wait. So for Tesla, that'd be my next level to watch to the upside, that 220.59. But now I'm just gonna give it a minute because it's already done its thing. Tesla's already done its thing. And I don't like to chase. I definitely don't like to chase. And even here today, like I'm not crazy about these candle wicks. Like you see all these crazy long wicks, like that's time decay. I like a smooth ride. Like I don't like the indecision in here. Yeah. Got a bit of a wedge forming up here. I'm just gonna throw up a trend line just to help us eyeball this downside. But yeah, I'm not crazy about this. On the downside though, your first level on here I would watch is that 216.62. You can look at a 2-minute, it might clean it up just a bit. But yeah, you see all these wicks. This is just really, really choppy today. I feel like this would cost more in premium than it would actually be for profitability. It looks like it is trying to golden cross here, but I'm just not convinced. They're pushing up off that. The problem with Tesla is I feel like bulls get trapped over here sometimes and then it'll just drop like a bowling ball. Like this is a nasty wedge. And it looks like a gravestone. Well, we'll see what happens. It's not closed yet. Let's see. Got some indecision over here. We can check back in on some of these tickers you all were looking at earlier too. Let's look at, I'm gonna pull Amazon back up. All right, so we got a rejection off that 50 and see if we can get a new low here. All right, if we do crack this low, then our price target goes down to 89.48. But I will say this, 90, that's one of those psychological levels for Amazon. It's like, it could definitely chop around here for a while if the bulls defend that. But the MACD and RSI both look good. We just need some sellers to step in. Oh, and they're here. Let's see. I really think 90. Yeah, there's a bit of a fight there. Let's see. And I'll bring up PDD over here. All right, so you see how it broke out of that pennant? It's gone. That was a nice move on PDD. Let's look at QCOM. And this volume too. I love it. I'm gonna pull up QCOM. QCOM is still struggling, but this is the one we were talking about would be an accumulation for a minute after it just got dumped like that. Let's look at Google. Still struggling to hit and jump the 50. And keys. All right, we'll see if this can stay above that 50 here. I'm trying to keep my eyes on Amazon. I would love if Amazon came on down. It's that 90 level, man. It's just gonna sit there and fight. All right, let's look at Tesla real quick. Yeah, it's just chopping around. And this has got my fib all out of whack. Amazon wicked 90.05 and turned around. It's definitely important. Like it's, the technical price levels are important, but like just understanding those psychological price levels can really help you like avoid a lot of chaos too. Because like, I trade the SPY a lot. So when we get around certain levels, I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna jump in today because I already know there's gonna be a dogfight. Just saves a headache. And that's like usually like the whole numbers, like 400 level is a nightmare. Like that 380 level is a nightmare. Any of the whole numbers. So like Tesla, right now, it used to be 1,000, but Tesla got split, right? So now it's going to be like 200, 220, 230, 240. But yeah, Amazon bounced right off 90. Apple is chopping around 140. Google's chopping around 85. Like a lot of these are sitting on those levels. Nvidia's literally at 135. Exxon's at 110. Yeah, this is a lot of chop. Nvidia is just under 135. Poor Meta. I actually want to look at Meta real quick. Well, it made a double bottom for no reason because it did not go anywhere. Defend this. Let's just run this up here. This is nuts. Make sure I got, yeah, good deal. Yeah, this is again, like, it just keeps going lower. I don't even know if it's going to get pushed to 90 here. Like, there's no, I don't want to throw shade, but there's no reason to buy Meta right now, in my opinion. But I don't know. Let's go back. Let's see what the SPY is doing. Can't get in that gap either. Today is Chop City. I think the best setup I've seen all day is that PDD. PDD. That was a really pretty move and it's still on the move. It's actually just come out of our extension. So I'm going to redo this. Still pumping. So this would take us to what, 58.17 if it were to keep running like this. I'm wondering if they had a catalyst or if they're just rocking out today. So like ideally, there's your pennant, right? So you would want to wait until you cleared that upper trend line. So like you see how the MACD, the buyers were taking control of it. The RSI is hot here, but like RSI, I always tell people it's like a backup dancer, like your price action and your candles are king. So as long as you're riding above that EMA and you've got the volume to support it, then you're good. But just remember, like once you start breaking through EMAs, like you see how the sellers kind of came in a little profit taking, but it's not serious. They didn't really breach that first EMA, but that's like your first line of defense. That's your second one. And then once you get to the 50, now we're talking about a whole other thing. And there's a Harami. Let's see how that goes up here. But yeah, this was a really pretty setup. And for anyone that's not familiar, because this candle is still forming, but it does look like a harami for now. But what it is, it's harami means pregnant in Japanese, I believe. So it's like this whole candle, like the body and both of the wicks are inside of the body of this one. And that's typically a sign of a reversal. Not always, but typically, because we're on a really low time frame, so we can get a lot of like things. A lot of things can happen in 1 minute in a 1 minute candle or a 2 minute candle. It looks like Tesla's China deliveries came down.
I'm not sure about that.
Sorry, that was Alexa. I said Tesla. I just got an alert that Tesla's delivery numbers from China slipped. Looks like the investors don't care. It's still moving. I think it's the only thing green in my, oh no, it's not. Nvidia, Exxon. United Health is insane. This is kind of random, but I do want to show you guys this. If you look at United Health on like a 1 month chart, it's insane. Like it's insane. It's like the prettiest chart I've ever seen. Let me go back though. We were looking at PDD and I think it's about to make a move. Well, it is maybe topping out, but we'll see. I got a target up here, that 58.36. And again, I really don't like to chase these things. Like I would rather this RSI kind of come down and then, well, which it actually just did. But what I would like to see is it breach this high. You see how it's like rejecting up here? I want to see it at least wick and then go higher, but I don't want to chase it. Let's see, they're still pushing up on it. And there it goes. The buyers are in the building. I wonder if they had a catalyst. I'm trying to see. I don't see any news. I'm just looking to see if there's like a catalyst. I see an article from CNBC talking about hmm, yeah, I don't know. I gotta do some digging to see what's driving this thing.
Yeah, I'm looking and I'm not seeing anything major either.
That's crazy. 7% move for no reason.
Yeah.
Is Pinduoduo, is this a Chinese stock? I've never done any type of research on this. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think it is. I wasn't familiar with it either.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
Shanghai. The Chinese market is getting beaten down. Like, this is so crazy. This is an anomaly. Yeah, it's down 3% today. That's nuts. This thing is ripping. And there's the QCOM alert. Let's do one of these. Oh, goodness. All right, so QCOM is in that gap. And I'll just throw up this pattern just so you guys can see it too. But it's I had to pin it and it's just taken off out of it. And Pinduoduo has also left the building. So we've got a couple options here. There's that, and I'll throw that. And then that's about to hit our target. And QCOM looking at 106.12 for this if the buyers continue pushing this up. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm obsessed with candlestick patterns. Like sometimes I point them out even after they've happened, but it just helps to see it all the time. Like it just commits it to memory. This looks like it's chilling out for a second. What I'll do here is throw up a price level line just so we know where we left off. And then just wait and see what this wants to do. I would also be inclined to mark up this wedge because it's insane. It's completely insane. There's a Harami too. You guys see that last candle on here, which it's not fully formed yet, but it's a reversal candle. But we'll see, because this thing is getting bought back up like crazy. Yeah, they're pushing back on it. And they're still there. QCOM's chugging along too. It's going to back, or it's going to go back to retest. We're just trying. I was gonna say too, I really like the new format. Like this is a lot of fun. This is literally what I would be doing if I wasn't doing a presentation. So this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this new format has been great. We had a lot of fun last month, and so we're gonna do this at least once a month now.
Yeah, this is awesome. There's some sellers. Futures are looking a little better. Still horrible, but better. And just for anyone that's not familiar, this is the Japanese market. This is China. That's our oil, crude oil. And then that's your Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P. And I like to keep my eyes on everything just to see what's going on. And then this watch list in particular, like I trade SPX a lot. So I've got the S&P, QQQ, DIA. Then my holdings, this is like the top, I think 15, but I actually need to redo this because I'm pretty sure after this earnings season, the order is shuffled around a bit. These are the top holdings in the S&P. They were about a month ago. I don't know about now. Definitely, I know these guys are still there, but I don't know about Meta. All right, looks like the sellers have flipped our MACD too. So I guess I'll talk about this real quick. So you see how the sellers are coming in here? And this is one of those things, like if you're really quick on execution, like, you know, you may see people take something like this, but like for me, I like really high probability setups. So like we're still above the 50. And then if I see the 50 and 200, they're so far apart like this, they just crossed. It's like, I don't want to take the chance of jumping in the downside and like having this bounce off the 50 and continue. So I like to just watch until it clears the 50 back on the downside. I'm not looking to play downside here. I have like so many rules to my trading, but it just helps to, it really helps to like narrow down the opportunities. I know that sounds crazy, but I just like really high probability setups, especially in this market. Like this market is nuts.
Do you have any kind of like journaling procedure that you do after your trades?
Yeah, so I actually have a trading journal. And it's basically just I'm putting in my entries, my exits, my P&L. Sometimes I get behind, you know, I'm human. So I'll go in and just look at my orders for the week sometimes and just fill in what I've skipped over. But I like to reflect on my losses. And like I also don't like to you know, well, this is more so before, like, I feel like I've developed a lot discipline wise, but before I would have wins where I didn't necessarily follow my own rules. So like I used to celebrate those, but now I'm kind of like, okay, if I didn't do everything like by my rules, then I'm not going to celebrate that. But yeah, I like to look at what went wrong, what I could have done better, and just really focus on those areas where I want to just get better. But yeah, our journal, it's on Amazon, just Investing Day Journal. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. I think journaling is super important.
Yeah, definitely. That's great.
Yeah, a lot of times people make errors and it's like it's subconscious. And so it's like you keep making the same mistake over and over and you don't even realize it until you see it on paper, like looking back at you. So if you don't journal, You know, it doesn't have to be a journal. It can be a napkin, whatever. Just make sure you're tracking everything you're doing so you can like find ways where you can increase like your profitability, and you can also find your edge. Like I noticed this year, which it probably is just because of the nature of the market, but I noticed like puts are like my jam. I play calls too, but like my edge is definitely downside. And there's an example of what I meant to by not jumping in too soon, because like we totally bounced. And then over here, we'll see if the buyers can hold this up. We make it a little flag or a cup and handle. I don't know, not a cup and handle, a rounding bottom. But it could technically make a cup. That's just presumptuous. I don't want to assume anything. I'm going to add Pinduoduo to my watch list because I've never looked at this before, and this is a heck of a first day to look at this thing. Do you guys have any other questions? I didn't even realize it's been an hour. Today flew by.
Yeah, that was great. I think we have to wrap up here though, and
Okay,
move on to the next presenter. So thank you.
thank you.